LaVar Ball and Donald Trump were at each other's throats, and it all started when LaVar's son LiAngelo and two of his teammates were arrested in China for shoplifting. The three were released by authorities apparently after the president spoke to his Chinese counterpart. Trump tweeted, "Do you think the three UCLA basketball players will say thank you, President Trump? They were headed for 10 years in jail." Well, as it turns out, after apologizing for what he did, LiAngelo did thank him.
I would also like to thank President Trump and the United States government for the help that they provided as well.
So Trump took to, of course, Twitter to say you're welcome to the three players and to tell them to have a great life. So everything was going just fine. Then ESPN asked LaVar Ball about the issue. Who? LaVar responded. What was he there for? Don't tell me nothing. Everybody wants to make it seem like he helped me out. At this point, Trump responded with a carefully worded press release. I'm just kidding. He tweeted, "Now that the three basketball players are out of China and saved from years in jail, LaVar Ball, the father of LiAngelo, is unaccepting of what I did for his son, and the shoplifting is no big deal. I should have left them in jail." A few hours later, he continued, "Shoplifting is a very big deal in China, as it should be 5 to 10 years in jail, but not to Father LaVar. Should have gotten his son out during my next trip to China instead. China told them why they were released. Very ungrateful." In hindsight, it was only a matter of time before these two would be beefing. They're both famous for working the media, making attention-seeking comments, and bragging.
You think he can be as good as Steph Curry in the NBA?
Heck no! He's gonna be better than Steph Curry in the NBA.
I've always had people say, "Donald, you have the most beautiful hands."
So let's settle this beef once and for all with a ruthless 3-round head-to-head matchup. My name's Michael McCrudden, and welcome back to Versus. Round 1, fight! Since the fight between LaVar Ball and Donald Trump started over something one of their kids did, I'm gonna make round 1 all about who's the better father. Nancy Armour of USA Today once called LaVar the worst sports parent ever. On the other hand, that Donald is not necessarily the best parent himself. He seems to have named his youngest son after the fake name he used to use when he would call into TV shows to brag about himself in the third person. For real. He named his daughter Tiffany after the store and had little to do with her upbringing. Plus, he said it himself, he's not much of an involved parent.
Now, I know Melania. I'm not going to be doing the diapers. I'm not going to be making the food. I may never even see the kids, frankly.
So neither father has a particularly good reputation when it comes to parenting, but I believe the results speak for themselves. So let's compare the accomplishments of the kids. Trump has 5 children that we know of, whereas LaVar's only got 3. So let's just compare the best and the worst. On the Trump side of things, there's no question who his favorite is.
She does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. You know.
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father? Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
Sure enough, Ivanka's accomplished a lot. She's worked as a model and appeared on The Apprentice. She's also had numerous successful business ventures, including her clothing line, although her apparel line has become a lot less popular since her dad took the oath of office. A long list of retailers, including Nordstrom, have declined to continue carrying the Ivanka Trump brand. Still, while it's hard to tell what exactly she's done in her role as an advisor to the president, most pundits tend to agree she helped tremendously during the election. And while she's one of the more popular people in Donald's inner circle. Unlike his dad, Lonzo Ball is a pretty soft-spoken and likable dude. He's faced no real controversies other than LaVar's loud mouth. And after just one successful season at UCLA, was drafted as the 2nd overall pick in the 2017 NBA draft by the Los Angeles Lakers. So far, he hasn't let the team down, having scored a career high of 29 points in 1 game. So overall, both Ivanka and Lonzo have succeeded in being the golden child of the respective families. You might say with his spotless record that Lonzo edges Ivanka out. But the lady's been living in the spotlight for a lot longer and faces a lot more pressure as an advisor to the president. So let's settle the score by looking at the worst children of LaVar and Donald. When it comes to choosing the worst Trump kid, Donald Jr. seems to be the obvious choice. Sure, America has been pretty disturbed by both him and his brother Eric, especially because of their big game hunting trips, but Donald Jr. screwed up bigger than pretty much any kid ever when he released his emails in an attempt to vindicate his father when it comes to the Russian collusion allegations. Whew! After Russia intermediately offered him incriminating information on Hillary Clinton, Jr. responded, "I love it." That response drew even more attention to the scandal. As a writer for The Atlantic put it, Even the emails released so far painting a damning portrait, the "we don't know better, we're just amateurs" defense with respect to foreign policy, which the White House has been using to this point, will not hold up. In other words, Junior got himself into some serious legal trouble, which has made his dad's life a whole lot harder. For LaVar, it's clear who his least favorite is. LaVar even told his middle son that he doesn't expect him to make it to the NBA. And now LiAngelo has got himself in trouble with Chinese authorities, just like Donald Jr. LiAngelo got himself in some legal hot water, but when it comes to legal trouble, Donald Jr., he may have stepped in it a little deeper. After all, LiAngelo only broke the law in China. Sure, you shouldn't do that, but Donald Trump Sr. has broken Chinese laws himself. While on a diplomatic mission to the country, how'd he do that? Well, he illegally accessed a website that's banned in the country. Any guesses what it was? Well, if you guessed Twitter, you are correct. So while both LiAngelo and Donald Jr. are their father's worst child, Jr. seems to be a little worser. Not only has his potential illegal dealings been harder to sweep under the rug, his big game hunting has generated a kind of bad publicity that, well, LiAngelo hasn't caught. So when it comes to being a bad father, LaVar may be the worst in sports, but he's still better than Donald. So round 1, it goes to LaVar Ball. Round 2, fight! For this round, let's talk about their careers. Both LaVar and Donald have set up their own businesses and created their own reality TV shows. Obviously, the Donald has accomplished more in his life than LaVar, but he's also had advantages that we should keep in mind. Donald's real estate business would likely not have been possible if it weren't for the fact that he was born to a wealthy father, who himself was also a prominent real estate guy. Donald's also more than 2 decades older than LaVar, so he's had more time to make things happen for himself. So to make things fair, let's forget Donald's entire real estate career and the fact that he's managed to get himself elected president. That feels good. Let's instead focus on the reality TV shows and their football careers. That's right, Donald Trump did have a football career. Well, kind of. He obviously wasn't a player. I refer to you this picture of him, well, playing tennis. But back in the 1980s, Donald did venture into the business of professional football by purchasing the New Jersey Generals. This team was part of the United States Football League, an actual pro sports league that once existed, despite an unsuccessful antitrust lawsuit against them by the NFL. Donald bought the Generals after the 1983 season with a plan to make a killing on his investment. Trump apparently convinced his fellow USFL team owners that a merger with the NFL would be inevitable, and when it happened, they'd all see their investments more than double. Unfortunately, after seeing his team play for just 2 seasons, the league cancelled its 1986 season and folded soon after. So the Donald was in pro football for just 2 seasons, but didn't seem to profit from the venture. LaVar Ball's football career was a little more conventional. He signed to the New York Jets in 1994. If you're keeping score, well, that's a team that's actually in the NFL. You know, rather than some kind of knockoff league. But he was actually only on the practice squad. He then played for the London Monarchs as a backup tight end in the World League of American Football before returning to the NFL, this time joining the practice squad roster of the Carolina Panthers, where he never took the field. Ever. Due to an injury. Now, based on his resume, you gotta figure LaVar was not exactly a successful football player, and his former teammates don't seem to have much positive to say about his skills. According to LaVar's London Monarchs teammate, Kenny McIntyre, he stated, "Man, he's talking all that junk, and he was garbage." That's so funny. So when it comes to football, both Trump and LaVar seem to have basically failed. It's hard to see who took the bigger L, but fortunately, they've also had another similar career, and this one is reality television star. Anyone who saw LaVar's appearance in the media leading up to the 2017 NBA draft probably had the sense that this guy was trying to create a reality show. Sure enough, he teamed up the production company behind Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Bun and Murray Productions, to create a show called Ball in the Family, which aired exclusively on Facebook. Now, Trump obviously starred in The Apprentice for 14 successful seasons, but let's go apples to apples and just compare season 1 of The Apprentice to season 1 of LaVar's show. The first episode of Ball in the Family has gotten a whopping 26.3 million views, which is almost as many views as the first Apprentice finale, which hit 28.1 million views when it first aired on television. Unfortunately for LaVar, though, all the other episodes have far fewer views, hovering around the range of 840,000 to 2.8 million. On average, the web show has gotten 3.9 million views per episode. But then on the other hand, for season 1 of The Apprentice, well, it averaged 20.7 million viewers per episode, and I was one of them. So Trump's show got a lot more views in its first season, plus as a digital creator, I can tell you, he made way more money. So this round is firmly in the huge hands of Donald J. Trump. Huge. They're huge. I fucked that up. Round 3, fight! For our final round, let's get serious. Let's talk about athletics. Both LaVar Ball and Donald Trump have drawn attention for their connections to the world of sports. When it comes to athletic accomplishments, there is no comparison. LaVar ran track, played college basketball, and even played football for the New York Jets. Trump, on the other hand, well, he owns several golf courses. Oh yeah, and he also pretended to once beat up Vince McMahon. Hey, look at this! Donald Trump! Yeah, so obviously LaVar is more of an actual athlete than Donald. But let's be honest, that doesn't really matter. These guys are hype men. So for this round, I'm gonna give points to whoever is better at exaggerating about their own sports accomplishments. Ooh, it's gonna be good. Despite making it to the NFL for football, LaVar's biggest and most famous exaggeration about his sports skills was his dominance on the basketball court.
We talk about the GOAT here, the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan, and you running your mouth talking about you gonna beat him one-on-one. Why would you say something so blasphemous?
In my heyday, he would need help.
That's obviously not true, especially since his detractors have exposed him for being pretty terrible at the sport. On top of this, LaVar averaged just 2.2 points per game when he played for Washington State. On the other hand, LaVar did successfully coach all 3 of his boys into becoming promising players. All 3 were clearly dominant players for Chino Hills High School. Both LiAngelo and Lonzo have proven powerful on UCLA's team, and Lonzo got himself drafted 2nd overall in the 2017 NBA Draft. While leaked footage and low stats have damaged LaVar's image as a sportsman, no one doubts his role in raising 3 very talented young players. I don't think anyone really believes that LaVar Ball could have ever beaten Michael Jordan, but I gotta figure that most people probably have the sense that he's a more talented player than he really is, and few doubt his understanding of the game. But while LaVar Ball tends to brag about his athleticism, the Donald gets others to do it for him. He even got Senator Lindsey Graham to tweet out, "Really enjoyed a round of golf with the president. President Trump shot a 73 in windy and wet conditions." He continued, "How bad did he beat me? I did better in the presidential race than today on the golf course. Great fun, great host." It's truly amazing that Trump was able to get this guy to gush about his golf skills, because during that presidential race, Trump actually doxed Lindsey Graham, releasing his private phone number. When asked about Senator Graham during the election, Trump responded like this.
I didn't start it with Lindsey Graham. I couldn't care less about Lindsey Graham. He's registered at, I think, 0 in the poll.
But Lindsey isn't the only one backing up Trump on his vitality prior to the election. Trump had his doctor say, "If elected, Mr. Trump, I can state unequivocally, will be the healthiest individual ever elected to the presidency." This despite the fact that in the past both President Kennedy and President Obama were elected president. But Trump's campaign to look athletic has also been undermined. According to the New Yorker, other than golf, he considers exercise misguided, arguing that a person, like a battery, is born with a finite amount of energy. Whether Trump really believes that or not, the idea that he doesn't know how to exercise really undermines his image as an athletic president. On top of that, even though Lindsey Graham has backed up Trump's golf brags, a whole lot of others say he's a cheat. A sports writer named Rick Riley once said after playing a round of golf with Trump, "When it comes to cheating, he's an 11 on a scale of 1 to 10. In 2012, Alice Cooper was asked who the worst celebrity golf cheat is. His response was, "I wish I could tell you that, it would be a shocker. I played with Donald Trump one time, that's all I'm gonna say." Back in the 90s, the then managing editor of Sports Illustrated, Mark Mulvoy, he recalled Trump cheating in a round of golf. After confronting him, he says Trump responded, "The guys I play with cheat all the time. I have to cheat just to keep up with them." So despite employing the clever strategy of having others do the golf bragging for him, unfortunately for Trump, there seems to be even more people willing to call him a cheat. LaVar's sons helped to give his over-the-top basketball claims a little bit of credibility, while Trump's golf claims are undermined by his rep as a cheater and ignorance about the human body. On top of that, LaVar has managed to stay in shape, so he kinda looks like he might be able to play. Donald, on the other hand, has made the mistake of allowing the media to get their hands on this picture of him playing tennis. Sorry to have to show you guys that again, but you know what this is. He's also found himself captured in countless weird golf pictures. Here's a picture of him looking at a club, and here's another of him apparently using a wedge to crush ants. In the end, Trump's sports exaggerations seem harder to believe. So this round, and this versus, it's gotta go to LaVar Ball. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this versus. Let me know who you were rooting for in the comments down below. Let me know who you want me to pit against each other in a future episode of Versus. My name is Michael McCrudden, thanks for checking out this video. And I think we're gonna make a playlist, because we keep making a few of these. So be sure to check out the playlist, which is brand new, right here. Alright, see you guys in that playlist. Boom!
Fuck you, Donald Trump, and everything you stand for. LaVar Ball, good looking out. I wouldn't thank that motherfucker either. Fuck you.